This is the seventh video in a set of 9 videos covering the book, The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. In this video, we will address Chapter 7, The Walls of Babylon. This chapter, although short, carries one of the most powerful metaphors in the entire work. Today, we're going to talk about protection, fear, maturity, late decisions, and above all, sustainable prosperity. Yes, especially for you who have already crossed the age of 40 and realized that your financial life needs new fundamentals. Maybe you have already felt the impact of enemy troops knocking at your door, debts, unforeseen expenses, emergencies, illnesses, market crises, unemployment. That is what the chapter talks about. Through the grand metaphor of the walls of Babylon, the walls that protected the city served as a shield against external chaos. And before we continue, take a mental pause and ask yourself, what are the financial walls in your life today? In the chapter, we see the soldier Banzar guarding the city's entrance while enemy armies attempt to invade. Men, women, the elderly, children, all distressed, all fearing the future. This scene is extremely familiar for those who reach 40 without financial planning. The enemy may be the credit card, the loan, the anxiety of having no retirement plan, the fear of losing your job, or the shame of asking for help. Maturity often carries a painful question, is it still possible? But just as Babylon resisted, you can resist too. That is what we need to understand. Walls are not built during the attack. Walls are raised before it. That is where many people fail. They wait for the crisis to arrive before forming a plan. When chaos knocks at your door, urgency swallows strategy. And that is why, after 40, reorganizing your financial mindset is no longer optional. It becomes survival. Notice how the chapter describes terrified crowds seeking information. Panic has never been an effective strategy. When we are afraid, we stop thinking and start reacting. Financial maturity requires the opposite. Think first, react later. That is the difference between those who prosper and those who merely survive. Throughout the story, Banzar repeats a simple and powerful phrase. The walls of Babylon will protect you. It is as if he is saying, do not despair, because we have structure. The question remains, do you have structure? Do you have reserves, insurance, investments, developed skills? Or does everything depend on a single source of income? After 40, if you have not raised walls yet, there is still time to do it. But you must start now. And remember, building walls requires bricks. Bricks are just like good financial habits. Saving 10%, investing part of your income, controlling expenses, avoiding useless debts, studying. Over time, a wall rises, and when the crisis arrives, it will protect you. Also notice that the city endured weeks of attacks. Prosperity is not built in a single weekend. Sometimes you have already tried to change your financial life before, but gave up because you did not see fast results. The chapter reminds us that the attack lasted days, and the walls only prevailed because they resisted. Prosperity must also resist the test of repetition. Repetition of habits, repetition of smart choices, repetition of priorities. Financial freedom is not built with bursts of effort, but with consistency. And here I ask you, how many repeated patterns have brought you to the exact moment you are in right now? Maybe this is the moment to break the cycle. There is another fascinating detail. During the attack, desperate citizens demand answers from the soldier, but Banzar does not lie, does not dramatize, does not promise miracles. He simply says, trust the protection we have. Many people after 40 start searching for financial miracles. The lottery, magical investments, quick promises. History teaches the opposite. Miracles are not a strategy. Walls are, And walls require discipline. Discipline to say no to useless expenses. Discipline to study money. Discipline to increase your income through new skills. Yes, after 40, there is still time to learn, grow, and prosper. In fact, at this phase, you carry experience, emotional maturity, and vision, the best ingredients for wealth. The chapter also shows that behind Babylon's protection stood the honor of Queen Semiramis, who built the walls centuries earlier. This teaches us that wise decisions cross generations. Today, what you build can protect your children tomorrow. A life insurance policy, an emergency fund, a legacy of financial education. Prosperity is not only about accumulating money, it is about planting foundations for those who come later. Maybe you grew up in an environment where talking about money was taboo. Maybe you never learned about investments, but now you can break that chain. You can be the Semiramis of your family. When the defense prevails and the dust settles, the city explodes in joy and gratitude. The enemy leaves, fear disappears, stress dissolves. This feeling is identical to someone who pays off an old debt, builds a reserve, pays the credit card on time, sees a positive bank balance. It is liberating. It is emotionally transformative. Prosperity is not just a bank account. It is peace of mind. And a peaceful mind opens space for new opportunities. Now let's move on to the final message of the chapter. We cannot afford to live without adequate protection. The author makes a direct comparison with insurance, reliable investments, and savings. Today, in the modern world, your walls are your health insurance, your emergency fund, your diversified investments, your continuous education, your network of contacts, and your ability to generate income even in times of crisis. If you depend on a single income, a single client, a single job, your wall has cracks. After 40, financial cracks cut deeper. Therefore, this is the right moment to fortify. Think about everything you have built so far. Think about how many storms you have already faced. Think about how much you have prospered, even without noticing. And now imagine the size of the transformation that can happen when you add strategy, protection, and discipline. The chapter reminds us that prosperity is not born from fear. It is born from preparation. You don't need to fight financial battles every week. You need to build walls. The secret is in the before. And if you have failed until today, don't blame yourself. Like the city under attack, sometimes we only notice the importance of a wall when the enemy is inside the gates. But now that you know, now that you have awakened, now that you can see, begin. Begin small. Begin today. Tomorrow will be too late. Financial life after 40 can be your greatest chapter. You have maturity, experience, focus, and urgency is power. To close, remember this. There is no sustainable prosperity without protection. Your income grows, your assets expand, your peace flourishes when your walls are secure. So breathe, observe your life. Where are your walls? Where are the cracks? Where do you need reinforcement? Because just like Babylon, your life deserves to be protected. And when you are prepared, the enemy will knock and will return home defeated. Prepare, build, protect, and prosper. If this video was important to you, don't forget to like, comment, share, and if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel. Also, check out our financial mindset development materials linked in the first pinned comment. It was great to be with you. I'll see you in the next video.